My name's Edward Nichols. I'm the regional personal training manager for InShape Fitness. I manage North Sacramento region as well as the East Bay area. Been in fitness since high school, 2005, and been trying to stay relevant in the game since then. My first certification, I was a senior in high school and I was waiting for my 18th birthday. I wanted to get my first tattoo and I wanted to get my personal training certification. So I had my CPR and everything ready to go my 18th birthday. Back then, it was a Wild West in terms of certification. So you could just go 100% online, open book, the whole deal, and go through the test. So, as I was saying, you're dropping into a club day one with a lot of book knowledge, but not necessarily a lot of practical knowledge. The first one that I had was it was called IFA, International Fitness Association.
Okay.
And I don't know if they're around anymore, if they were ever accredited or anything like that, but it gave you a good idea of what rep ranges you should be working with for different types of adaptations and stuff like that. The basics of progressive overload, how calories work, just the bare minimum stuff that you'd want out of somebody that you're going to put in front of a client.
Have you got any more certifications
Yeah,
along?
so education's big, especially the company that I work for, InShape. We're really big on educating our trainers. In the position that I'm in, I'm somewhat responsible for pre-screening what those educational offerings are. So I always like to run through any sort of new certification that we have with a new partner and just see what is this product that we're pushing our fitness managers, we're pushing our certified personal trainers towards, and is it something that I can stand behind and that aligns with our methodologies as a department, as a company. So I was really happy to go through the coursework. Usually when I run through these things, I speed run it because I know most of the material. It's not a lot of new knowledge, it's a lot of review usually when I'm going through a course. So I started off and I was like, okay, I'll do a chapter every night. And after a couple of nights, I was like, whoa, this is actually a lot more intense than most of the online certifications that I've taken. I can run through it in a few days tops. This one, it became pretty clear that it was going to take me a matter of weeks, if not a month or more, plugging away at it every night. I liked the interactive nature, the way that the course was presented, the fact that it mixed in a lot of different learning styles. So for me, I usually have a hard time with online certification because I'm an oral learner. I like to discuss. And a lot of fitness professionals, I'm also a kinesthetic learner. I learn by doing. So some of those activities where I'm having to move things around on the screen and match things up, those are really helpful for helping me lock in an understanding of what that material is actually trying to speak to and how I'm going to use it with a client. What are those cues that are going to come up from that client that I can respond with this type of information?
What would you say is the biggest difference between, let's say, the LionEL certification that you've taken and the other certifications you've taken in the past?
Yeah, so I think right out of the gate, you're starting with the history of fitness. You're starting with who are the pioneers that made this industry what it is today? Who are those big names? What were they responsible? What innovations did they come up with? And I believe that sets a really solid foundation for the rest of the coursework because I'm walking in and I'm knowing about ancient Rome, I'm knowing about ancient Greece, and I'm knowing about pumping iron and Arnold Schwarzenegger and everybody that came before. I thought that was all really good information. Obviously, being a huge Schwarzenegger fan, I knew most of that stuff, but maybe not so much on the group exercise and aerobics side. So it was good to get some pioneer names in there, so know a little bit more about those modalities as well. The way that the course builds is very logical in terms of the way that I would work with a client. Way back in the day when I was in college, I worked in a restaurant bar setting. And when you're opening a restaurant or bar, you always look at things from the customer's point of view. So the customer's coming into your restaurant. What do you want them to see first? What's the most important thing for them to get set? Okay, we got to get the tables, we got to get the chairs, you got to get the bar set up because it looks like it's ready. And then we go back behind the bar, we fill up the ice, we make sure all of the bottles are in the right place, we make sure that the stove is on, everybody's in the kitchen cooking. But the first thing is first, and that's making sure that the customer is taken care of. It's making sure that the client is taken care of. I liked how every chapter built on the foundation of that first one. And we're going to end up in a place where we've got all of the tools And then we're talking about things like behavioral change and how do I control variables that occur outside of the four walls of the gym? And how do I influence behaviors when that client isn't in a session with me? Because we know best case scenario, the client's training with us for 3 hours per week. There's 160 something other hours during the week where they can go completely sideways. In my mind, that's the most important aspect is that psychological component, that behavioral change aspect, because that's what's going to really allow you to influence a client's results in a much more expedited fashion. I think with NASM as well as ISSA, the main emphasis tends to be on correcting postural imbalances, which we know that's important. We know that the way that I structure a program is important. We know that the acute variables within a program are really important and are going to some degree dictate the results that client's going to get if they adhere to the rest of the program. And that's always the biggest caveat is I can kick a client's butt up and down the gym 3 hours per week. If they're going off the rails on days that they're not training with me, their results are going to be somewhat limited. I think that we as an industry can do a much better job of focusing in on what are these soft skills that really help influence client behavior outside of the session, because that's what's going to lead to lasting results, that habitual change where now they're not looking in the mirror like they're a person that is trying to get to the gym. Now they're looking in the mirror like somebody that's making measurable progress towards their goal and will eventually reach it. I think for the vast majority of clients that I've trained, maybe there's a handful that are trying to have a 400-pound bench press. But the vast majority of clients are trying to look better, feel better, move better. And I've always viewed my position as like, how do I get you as close to optimization as you would like to go? Because if you want to go completely bananas and start tracking different blood markers and all these other variables, we can absolutely go berserk and do that. But most people, they're not going to want to train like Hugh Jackman did for the latest Deadpool movie, right? They're not going to want to wake up at 6 a.m. and do an hour of fasted cardio and then eat 3 pounds of Alaskan black sea bass. Like most people don't want to do those things. So my ability to customize a program so that it's going to be optimal, not just for that client's result, but also for that client's balance in life. There's other things that we need to attend to. Most of us can't spend 5 or 6 hours in the gym per day. How do I adapt that program for that client in such a way that it's going to deliver a measurable result and keep them engaged over the long haul?
The type of that you would recommend Lionel to, who would that be?
Yeah, I think your new trainer that's coming in with a heart of gold, bright eyed and bushy tailed, and wants to change the world, wants to make that impact. I think that it's a great starting point. It's going to give you all the tools that you need to be successful on your first day. And then I also think it's great for an old guy like me that's been around for a little bit and you want to get in touch with those reasons that you got started in the industry, because as we move up in our companies, as we become fitness managers, area managers, regional managers, whatever those things are, we can become more and more separated from the product that we're actually offering, right? Like we can become disconnected from the lives that we're actually impacting. And for me, going through the course was just a nice refresher on what did I initially get started in this industry to do? I got into this industry to help people change their lives. And I feel like running through that credential course it's a great jumping off point. It's also a great way for, like I said, somebody like me to get back in touch with their why.
Nice. Would you recommend LionEL University and why?
Yeah, so I would 100% recommend it. I have recommended it to players in my region, especially those who I feel have the potential of becoming that next generation of rock star trainers. So I'd say anybody that's really serious about wanting to take the level of their training to an art form. So, if you want to go from being an average trainer that comes in and makes a paycheck to being somebody who's next level. And when you meet with your clients, they know that you care. It's a great investment of your time because it's going to give you all of the skills to show that client that you've done the homework and you know what it's going to take to change their life.